Hi, this is Jay from ProJ, and today we'll be showing you a quick video on the Typhoon system. What you get with it and how do we quickly assemble it, to give you an idea of what it takes. Here is the lower manifold. This is the upper manifold right here. This is the, the 90mm throttle body we'll be using with this assembly. Here are the fuel rails and the hardware together with some dummy injectors here, and I'll show you how to install those also. Quick view here. This is the lower intake manifold. These are the primaries, these are the secondaries. Here are the semi-peripheral ports. They're about 1 inch right now. They could be modified depending on your application. This manifold can hold 4 injectors on the inside and an additional 4 injectors on the outside. Together with the upper, this upper could be ordered with or without injectors. Here we'll be using an additional 4 injectors to a total of 12 injectors on this Typhoon system. The runner style is a 3-to-1, where we start over here with 2 barrels at 65 millimeters, and they taper down into the ports. So in one runner you'll have a primary, a secondary, and a semi-peripheral. Same with the other side. The manifold is isometric and perfectly balanced. Let's start by assembling this, and we'll go ahead and show you the dummy injectors. These are basically 14mm by 60mm long. I'm going to put 4 of these in here. We'll take a look at it. We'll grab the fuel rail and install this. I like to use a little bit of grease, which I already have grease on these. So once you put a little bit of grease on the O-rings, you literally insert them into the fuel rail, but don't push them in. Basically what I like to do is sort of give it a rocky motion back and forth and allow the O-ring to slide in nice and smooth without pinching the O-ring. And we'll continue doing the same thing to the other ones. O-ring slide nice and in. Now that we have the injector set on the fuel rail, we'll go ahead and set the fuel rail on the manifold. And you see where the O-rings go right here, and you will do the same thing on the bottom. I'll give it sort of like a hula hoop motion, move it back and forth around, and the O-rings will slide right in place without pinching them. Now we use the stainless steel hardware to secure the fuel rail in place. Now this specific application here has 3 fuel rails that are -10 high flow, each fuel rail holding 4 injectors. So that's what the front one looks like assembled. Let's slide the rear fuel rail in place. And secure that with the hardware. Okay, now that that's done, you can see that the lower manifold's got the 2 fuel rails in place. We got the dummy injectors filling real nice and good there. Now we're going to move on to the upper. This is the Typhoon upper. It has a 90mm opening, standard full bolt pattern for the throttle body. We use 4 bolts to secure the upper to the lower, and 2 large O-rings as a seal. Go ahead and install the O-rings in place. And we'll be using The hardware would be 4 3/8/16 bolts, short, and 2 long ones. These will be holding the fuel rail. So now we'll take a lower manifold, place it on top, line up the hose real nice, grab the hardware, put it in place. Let's do some multitasking. Put the 2 bolts, one in the front, one in the back. We're just going to snug them with our hands. And put the 4th one right here in the center. Now that that's done, the upper and the lower are secured together. Now we're going to go ahead and install the fuel rail. This is what the fuel rail looks like. We'll rotate the brackets so we line it up perfect. And once everything is in place, we can snug everything up. Use the long bolts. Again, these are 3/8/16, all stainless steel on the hardware. The upper brackets have adjustment, and you can set these fuel rails where you want it and lock them in place. Once you're comfortable when you get them. Now we're going to turn to the inlet. Like I said, this is a 90mm inlet. We could use easily a 80mm or 90mm. Fits real nice. The system is flow tested for 90mm, gives you the best flow. Here is a 90mm low profile throttle body. Is a 2-inch low profile setup. Use a standard Ford Mustang TPS. Has an adjustable linkage. Loosen this bolt, slide this wheel, and put it in whatever position you want. Here's an idling set screw together with a lock nut in place, and this is where you will set your throttle cable and whip it around. The throttle body itself uses a heavy-duty oversized shaft, 7/16 stainless, annealed for stress release, and use a 1/8-inch butterfly in brass, cut like a knife in the front and leading edge, just like a knife. Good rugged throttle body. So we're gonna set the O-ring in place. Make sure the O-ring is sitting just right. Just slide it over the manifold, making sure that the O-ring has not moved. Everything is in place. We'll line up the hose and use the hardware that is supplied with the setup. Now we're going to go ahead and install the O-ring. It goes in the front. This will be the V-ring. You'll be welding this to the charge pipe. Has a V-roof for the O-ring. Slide it in place. Take the stainless steel V-van. Install that. Set the V-van whichever position you want. Pretty much gives you an idea of what the Typhoon system consists of. It's a 90mm inlet splitting into two 65mm, going down into the lower manifold, and it's splitting into the primary, secondaries, and the semi-peripheral ports. This setup holds up to 12 injectors, which will have 4 injectors per fuel rail. It's a slim construction, nice and tight towards the motor to give you enough room for your downpipe. And is perfectly even and balanced intake manifold for the rotaries. This will give you a good power range, and I have seen dyno sheets of 1200 plus horsepower on a setup like this. And that concludes this quick video. Thank you.